Hey everybody, Kristen here and welcome back to my channel. If you're interested in minimalism, simplify, and healthy living, then stick around. So in this video I'm going to be talking about toxic relationships and how to identify if you're in one, how to work on cutting ties and ending that toxic relationship, and truly letting go in order to create relationships that are going to be of value to you and that are going to bring you joy. The first thing is you really have to identify what a toxic relationship is for you. Definition of toxic relationships. For me, I feel like a toxic relationship is any time that there's like pattern of negativity where at least one person in the relationship is being harmed in some way. I know that's kind of a broad definition, so I'm going to get into a little bit of like things to look for that would maybe be a good sign that it's toxic. Let's say the relationship is toxic if you feel like you're walking on eggshells, you can't really be yourself around this person, you feel like if you bring up something it's going to set them off or it's just going to cause a whole bunch of problems, you feel like not safe, not comfortable around this person, then it's probably a toxic relationship. The person is ignoring your needs and only considering their own. If this person is dishonest a lot of the time, if this person is resentful and harbors resentment and never forgives you for things and like holds it against you, uses it as a weapon in arguments, that is a sign of a toxic relationship. If this person displays any controlling behaviors where they're trying to control you in any way, control your behavior, control what you do, maybe they are trying to like isolate you from your friends and family, maybe they're trying to get you to do something that you don't want to do and pushing boundaries that they know that you've set in place. The other thing is if they're really envious or jealous all the time, so it's okay to be a little bit jealous. There's probably going to be some mild level of that in any relationship, but it's what you do with it and how you communicate it. And if it is a constant and it's being used in any way as a form of control, or they're like not allowing you to talk to any of your friends or not allowing you to use your support system, very toxic communication. If there's a ton of like criticism going on where this person is like beating you down, saying really mean, nasty things to you, beating up your personality, your intelligence, things like that, or if there's just like this underlying contempt going on, that is very toxic. The other thing is just lack of support in general. If that person doesn't support your goals, your dreams, what you're trying to achieve, if they don't support you in just like your everyday life in general, then it's probably a toxic relationship. A good thing is ask some of the people that you trust in your life that really care about you and know you really well, whether or not this person is a good person for you. How do we declutter and really just let go of toxic relationships? Well, we've identified it. That's step one. You have to identify that you're in a toxic relationship in order to work towards changing that and then cutting ties or ending that toxic relationship. The next step is to name what's toxic about it. Like physically write down, verbalize, write down everything that is toxic within this relationship. All the negativity and negative things that have come up, okay? All of the cons to this relationship, all the things that it does not give you or all the things that it takes from you. Because a toxic relationship is going to take from your cup and it's going to take and take and take and give nothing back. And the next step is to really mourn the loss. And the reason I say this is because when we cut ties in a relationship, it really is a grieving process. You go through those 5 stages of grief because you lost someone who was a big part of your life, who you have a lot of memories with, a lot of connections with. And that relationship may not have started out toxic. Maybe it became toxic as the relationship went on. There were more red flags, more signs of toxicity, and by then you had developed feelings. So really mourning the loss of that relationship, and even like some of the things you dreamed and imagined, like having a family, having kids, like what were the things you imagined doing with this person that now aren't going to happen? You have to mourn the loss of those things and learning how to let go of that. And honestly, I don't have any like amazing, tips for that. It's going to just take time. You may need to go to therapy to address it a little bit, but really you have to walk through those stages of grief and allow them to happen and allow yourself to let go of what you imagined your life would be with this person. Next step is to accept that you can't ever change this person. And this can be really hard, especially in controlling and toxic relationships. I think sometimes we think like, oh, things used to be better or whatever, this person changed. And so we convince ourselves to just kind of ignore those signs and we think, oh, well, I can change this person, or this is the best that I'll ever do, or we tell ourselves those things, but the truth is none of those things are true. That person is not going to change. And so if that person is the way that they are, you have to accept that and ask yourself, well, with that person as they are, with all of those traits, all of those red flags, all of that negativity, is that person the right person for me? Is this person really going to bring me value and make my life better? Next is making a plan to terminate the relationship. This is really important. You really need to create like a detailed plan of kind of like what you're going to say, how you're going to handle it. And obviously, you know, with anything like this, I would encourage you to maintain safety first and foremost. You know, if you need to have a friend with you, have a police with you, like if this is a situation where this person could possibly be destructive or physically abusive or verbally abusive in any way, have someone with you, have a plan in place. And that's why the plan is so important, because then you know exactly what you're going to say, you know how you're going to leave, you have the supports in place. Really what I would suggest is really sticking to the facts and being honest with this person, and also being able to understand that that person is not going to like what you're saying, and they're probably going to come back at you with some toxic criticism or contempt or try to convince you to stay. This is because this is a toxic relationship, and so if they flip it around on you and make you seem like the bad guy, that is another sign of a toxic relationship, and at which point you just need to leave at that point and not continue trying to set boundaries and end the relationship. You've made it clear up until that point. You don't need to take it any further and listen to this person who's then going to try to manipulate and control you further. I mentioned this one of having a support or a true friend either with you, but also having that for the weeks and days that follow. So after you end this toxic relationship, it's going to be hard. You're likely probably going to want to contact this person, and it's going to be a hard thing because, again, you're mourning the loss of this relationship, and so it's going to be difficult. You're going to need to have a support system in place. You know, for all that free time that you're now going to have because you're no longer in this relationship, you may need to plan out some outings with friends or try reconnecting with some of the friends that you've maybe lost touch with. Like, you need to have some good supports of people you're calling, people you're hanging out with. I'm not saying ignore your grief, but I am saying it's not going to be helpful for you to just sit alone all the time at your like house or apartment or wherever you live. You really need to surround yourself with community. Next step is to identify and name all the reasons that you ended the relationship. This is crucial. Come up with as many as you can, even include, you know, if you have a trusted friend that is seeing some of those negative things and the impact on your life, they can speak into this and you can add those items to your list. But really focusing on, well, what are all the negatives? And the reason I say this is because you can reference this and look back on it when you're struggling and you're like at 3 a.m. you want to call this person and get back in a relationship with them. You can use this list as a guide of, okay, but this is why I ended the relationship. These are all the negative things, the things that this person did that negatively impacted me, that were controlling and manipulative and maybe borderline abusive. They were just toxic. The next thing is to ask yourself, what is different without this person being in my life? You know, am I really gaining anything with this person in my life? And so after ending it, identifying what is different. Are you less self-reliant? Are you more free? Do you feel safer? Do you feel more like yourself? Do you feel like you have a better support system, right? And I ask myself, how might your life be better than it was before? But how might your life be better than it was before? So when it was with this person, now you're without this person, you've ended the relationship. How might your life be better now in the present without this person than it was before in this relationship? Another just like bonus tip that I'll add in here, something that has stuck out to me that I've used, is a true friend, a true significant other, partner should be adding something to your life, not constantly taking something from you. They should be adding something positive to your life. I'm not saying that they're never going to make mistakes, but this person should be adding something of value to your life. They should be wanting to put your needs above their own. They should be actively trying to make you happy and to comfort you and to make you feel safe. That is how that person should be acting towards you. And if they're not, I would really question that. Those are kind of my tips there of how to work on getting out of a toxic relationship and letting go of just a toxic relationship, and how to identify really what a toxic relationship is for you. Thank you all so much for watching. I will see you all in the next one. Love you all. Bye.